Alright, so we're here again with the same war against Eternity, and this is going to be part 2 of the how to attack Albion Towers in Guild War guide / walkthrough. So for this one, we're going to be hitting Tower 12. Again, it's already been scouted, so we're not working with how to scout Albion Towers, just how to put your units in the correct order to deal with known orders to deal with him. Now this tower is an Albion and Beliath tower, so there's going to be lots of taunts and lots of skeletons. Beliath can sometimes be tricky to deal with, but there's enough units out there now that can remove the skeletons or just don't die that it's not too bad now. We already went over in the first video how Albion works. When she buffs up, she gives taunt to everyone that's touching her corners, and she gives them 100% graze chance, and on that graze, you only deal 25% to them. So, the way they have their buff chain set up is they are going Refi to Osmode to Nardis, Beliath, Albion, and Ludmilla. So Ludmilla is the first attack. So even before that, though, we notice that Beliath is buffing Angelica, Albion, and Glacia. So when those units die, they're going to spawn skeletons. The skeletons kill units on reflect if their HP is low enough and if the attack is high enough. The way the skeletons work is they deal fixed damage based on the enemy's attack times 150%. So if you have high attack as a unit and you have low HP, there's a very good chance you're going to die to the skeletons. When a skeleton is made, it does not keep the taunt if I am the one who killed the unit. However, if the unit that has the taunt and the Beliath buff suicides, like let's say if this Angelica was to hit a Zakan or a Chockle in my bot lane, and then make a skeleton, that skeleton would keep the taunt from Albion. So that's something good to know if you like using bombs. As you see up here, I am using a bomb, but not for that purpose. So right off the bat, we see that Angelica has the highest taunt priority given from Albion, and then Glacia, and then Beliath. So what I've chosen to do is, since Ludmilla is the first unit moving, I'm going to bomb her. So I have Zakan there with 2,196 attack, almost 2,200. Zakan deals fixed damage, his attack times 3. So I'm just shy of 6,600. Now to kill the Ludmilla, I only need 6,144 damage to kill her. So this is a for sure death. When Ludmilla moves, she's going to hit Zakan and die. Also, her subtiles only deal damage to mages, yet she does stun units that can be stunned. So she will stun my Eden, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to cleanse it. So Ludmilla moves and dies to Zakan. And then we've got all these units with taunt and Beliath buff. So on my turn, I'm moving Refi to Michaela to Osmode. Now this Osmode buff, since Ludmilla is dead, is going to kill the enemy Osmode, Refi, and Nartis. Now if you notice, Nartis has 0 HP, or excuse me, 0 defense, Osmode has 0 defense, and Refi has 5% defense. Normally Refis build defense, in this case they built HP. So in this case you don't even need an Osmode plus 10 to kill all of them, you just need a little over 400% crit damage and 100% crit to kill all of these HP based units. Mine is well over that, and Refi plus Michaela is enough to get to 100% crit. So my Osmode will kill these 3 units. So now we've got the top 3 dead and Refi dead. And immediately after, I have my Ventana go. My Ventana is going to go and hit the highest priority taunting unit, which is going to be Angelica. Now the way Ventana works, as you saw in the previous video, she does fixed damage when a unit is taunting. So it doesn't matter that Angelica has 100% defense, she's going to die. So Ventana kills her, and when Angelica dies, she's going to make a skeleton. The skeleton will not have taunt. So immediately after that turn, the enemy Yuri will go. hitting just my Lucius and popping him. Then my next turn, I'm going to use Maya. Now the cool thing about Maya is she ignores taunts, and she gives concentrated fire as well as removing debuffs. Or excuse me, not removing debuffs, she removes buffs off the enemy. Her first skill is the concentrated fire, which basically makes my units attack whatever she touches. This is the skill that lets her ignore taunt. And this is what removes the buff types on the enemy. So, my Maya is going to move, applying concentrated fire on the Albion. Now, something to note, Albion will have 100% graze. So when my Maya moves, she's going to graze. When you graze, you only apply half the turns of whatever debuffs you're adding. So instead of being 6 turns on this concentrated fire, it will only be 3. Albion is now concentrated fire, and my Maya just moved. So immediately after that, Glacia will move, hitting my Refi, and then I have my Yuri going. So my Yuri goes on the 3rd turn of the taunt, since remember her turns gets cut in half. And concentrated fire, if I didn't mention it before, has a higher priority than regular taunts. So even though Glacia has taunt and Beliath has taunt, it doesn't matter because concentrated fire has higher priority. So when my Yuri moves, she's going to kill the Albion, kill the Beliath, and will not leave skeletons on either one because both Maya and Yuri have Nullifier, which removes the buffs. And Yuri will also pop the skeleton that we made from Gran earlier. Or not from Gran, from Angelica earlier. This Yuri will also remove the taunt and the skeleton buff off of Glacia. So now Glacia has no taunt and Glacia has no skeleton. There's a chance my Yuri will be able to kill her as well, but I'm not relying upon that. So now the situation we're in is the bottom 3 units are dead, these top 3 are dead, and Refi is dead. So we only have Yuri and Glacia left. So right after that, I have my Eden following up to kill whatever's left of Glacia. Now the reason why Eden's going to be able to kill is because I am double buffing him and Michaela buffing him. So what Michaela does is reduces his HP, and then he further reduces his HP when he attacks. So he's going to be dealing a lot more damage, plus the extra stats given from Michaela. This also keeps him from getting frozen. Michaela has a attack interference immunity bestowal for 12 turns, which prevents Eden from getting frozen when he hits the Glacia. And then with Glacia dead, the only unit left is Yuri, which my Lucius will hit her, take away the first death guard, and then round 2, when my Ventana moves, she will kill the Yuri. So now, for my lane, tanking their units, we know that Angelica is dying, but I still like to play things a little bit safe. So if you notice, this Angelica is 14, so only 1 tile. And I have Eden tanking her, even though she's never going to move. We have Zakan dealing with the Ludmilla. Now, this Osmode is +9 and doesn't have very good buffs, so it's impossible for him to kill my 60% defense Refi. And then when Glacia moves, she will hit my Refi, healing Refi, and Refi will basically take no damage at all. And then for the front lane, we've got Yuri hitting Lucius. And then Nardus is never going to get a chance to move because we use Osmode to kill him. So we'll go over the turns and attacks once more, just so we can make sure, and then I'll check my runes. We have Refi going to Osmode, which will not kill my Refi. Nardus, Beliath, Albion, Ludmilla. Ludmilla dies to my Zakan, and now we've got these taunts active. Then I buff up Refi, Michaela, Osmode, killing enemy Osmode, Refi, and Nardis. And then my Ventana goes and kills Angelica, leaving a skeleton. Then the enemy Yuri moves, hitting my Lucius. I use Maya to concentrate fire the Albion. Glacia moves and taunts. My Yuri goes and hits the Albion with concentrated fire, killing Albion, Beliath, and Angelica's skeleton, leaving no other skeletons, and removing the taunt and skeleton off of Glacia. Now the enemy has no more turns, so my Eden goes and finishes off whatever is left of the Glacia. My Lucius takes off the first Death Guard of Yuri, and then round 2, I finish off Yuri with Ventana. So let me double check my runes, make sure we are good to go. Great. All lanes are safe. Awesome. So here we go. Let's see what happens. Alright, we'll keep it at ×1 speed so we can see everything. Refi buffs up. Osmode hits my Refi, does not kill. Beliath buffs. Albion buffs. Ludmilla dies. I cleanse the stunned Eden, buff up my Osmode, kill the front 3 units with Osmode, and use Ventana to kill Angelica. Lucius tanks the Yuri. I concentrate fire for 3 turns the Albion. Then I use Yuri to kill everyone. Eden hits Yuri. Lucius hits Yuri. And then actually, round 2, since Yuri has no more Death Guard, my Osmode is going to kill. So this is a best case scenario. Awesome. So that's how you deal with Albion Beliath towers. The easiest way is to use units with Nullify that can remove the skeleton buffs, and then other units that can deal with the taunts as quickly as possible, or use units that have concentrated fire to ignore the taunts.